Yo, what's good? It's your boy Big Steve, and tonight's another episode of Go Blue After Dark, where we smoke and talk Michigan football. So let's get into it. So yesterday, Michigan defeated UNLV 35-7 to move on to 2-0, and it hasn't been too much to talk about as far as these first two games, but the overreaction has been Michigan's run game and offensive line. And if you'd have told me weeks ago, a couple years ago, that through the first two games, Michigan would be 2-0 and our top receiver will have more receiving yards than our top running back, that just don't sound like Michigan football. And just after watching that Texas-Bama game, where it shows not just that game, but the way college football has gone, you have to have a elite quarterback to win the national championship game. And I know people saying, well, Georgia didn't have an elite quarterback and they won too. Yes, Georgia had probably not if the best defensive classes back-to-back that we ever seen. And they had that, and Stephen Bennett was 28 years old, and he did what the fuck he's supposed to do when you're a grown-ass man playing against little kids. But with that being said, I feel that Michigan now has a quarterback which can lead them to a national championship with his arm. And I feel that the first two games, Michigan's been forcing the action with the run game with Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum. Blake Corum got 25 carries. You know, Donovan Edwards got 18 carries, and which that is not a lot. But coming into the season, we all expected that Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum go have 400 yards each in the first two games, and that hasn't been the case. So I feel it's a bit of an overreaction right now. You know, just like most Michigan fans right now, every time Blake and Donovan Edwards run the ball, we think they're going to get hurt. You know, it just looked like it. It just looked weird. Every time they run the ball, it's like, this is it. This is it. So with that being said, I hope it don't happen. I hope we have them the whole season. But, you know, the reality is we now have a quarterback that can go out and lead us into a national championship. And I feel with the passing game, it's been easy. You know, you saw with even playing against TCU, you know, this dude is a bona fide baller. You know, at first I thought it was a lot of dink and dunking going on the first couple of games. I was worried about, are we going to be able to, you know, stretch the defense? The dude is, you know, being that Jim Harbaugh is a quarterback, first round quarterback, long career. He know what it takes to be an NFL quarterback. And just like with, you know, previous quarterbacks, it's been so, especially at the other state where they just throwing the ball, you know, all 9 routes, and then they get into the league and can't read a damn book to save their life. So with JJ, I feel right now they're giving him NFL throws. He's throwing the ball across the field and putting it on the money. You know, he's out there, even on that yesterday, the first drive, we ran the ball twice and it looked bad. And it was 3rd and 8. And he drops back and throws a ball to Roman Wilson where it's like, he just made it look so easy. But as Michigan fans, we've been so used to, if we got to depend on our quarterback to win a game, it's going to be a long season. It's going to be a long season. But when he's throwing the ball, my only concern is sometimes he hold on to the ball a little longer. And you can do that against UNLV. But when you playing against Penn State and Georgia, when those D ends and D tackles are getting off the ball like that, you got to be able to get rid of that ball quick and make a decision quick. So that would be one concern I would have with him. But so far as the run game goes, I think we've been forcing the first two games just because we want these guys to get going. You know, you want them to get their numbers. And I saw somebody said something about Donovan Edwards checked his stats at halftime and saw he only had so many yards. And I can see he has that aura about him, almost like a Ezekiel Elliott, where he want to be a superstar. He wants to be a superstar. I love that he has that in him. Shit, if he's pissed off that he only got 50, I want him to check his phone and say, fuck it, I'm mad. Like, get mad and go out there and get 200 yards second half. So I'm not upset that he has that, aura about him. So you want your running back to be pissed off if he's averaging 2 yards a carry and he's expected to be a high draft first or second round draft pick next year. So, yeah, so this is a little bit over the overreaction I've been hearing. And even myself, coming into the season, I expected the run game to just dominate these first couple of games. And I always felt JJ can be that quarterback. But it was, do we got the receivers where he can really go to work? And I see Tyler Morris look real good. I think he's going to be that third receiver. Cornelius Johnson doing what the fuck he's supposed to be doing as a grown-ass man. He out there, you can tell when he catch the ball, he's like, I'm not going to celebrate. I've been the man. He's been the top 3 target at Michigan for the last 3 or so years. So I'm pretty sure he's out there, and I want him to feel that way. He's probably like, man, I'm waiting on Penn State, And people can say, well, that's a bad way to look at it, and that's a way to get smacked in the mouth. No, be confident. Be confident, So 35-7 in retrospective to me is just they got some good film, man, some good work in, and got the dub. That's the thing, because if you played the first screen the whole game, we could easily put 50 up on them. Yes, I was kind of concerned with the, 3 and outs and the stopped on 4th down. Like I say, the backup quarterback, that's the main reaction we should all be worried about. I'm not too worried about the Michigan run game. If anything, I'm worried about the Michigan play calling for the run game. We can't just up the middle. We're not going to be able to do that. Nugent, dude from Stanford, he's not as big and tall as I thought he was. And I don't see him moving that middle like Oliver Tenney did last year. So we're going to have to use the outside and use them right tackles. Instead of having these right tackles chasing people, let's send them at somebody. I like to see Miles Hidden going at somebody. You keep seeing him have to chase people. Of course, he's going to look like he's getting beat. Let's see him going at somebody. Let's change that running game up. But far as concerned about the running game, I won't be at all. I think we're going to rely on the pass to open the run game up, which would make it easier for Donovan Edwards and Blake to hit holes. Because right now, through the first couple games, teams going to just sell out to say, JJ, you got to beat us. That's going to be the thing. JJ, you got to beat us. And he's going to have to be a Heisman candidate this year. He can't be a game manager. He's going to have to be a Heisman candidate. That's the thing he's going to have to be on right now. The bar's high. This is one of the best quarterback classes in a while. There's going to be a lot of quarterbacks out this class go first round. You got them everywhere. You look in the top 10, top 15, everybody has an elite quarterback. And when you get to the playoffs, like I say, that Texas game was a prime example. When you get to the playoffs and you playing these teams with these big-ass linebackers and defensive line, you're not finna just No, you're going to look crazy. You're going to have somebody back there willing to get hit in the mouth and drop some good passes. And that's been proven to even, with the Florida State quarterback going against LSU. You're going to have, and then what happened in the fourth quarter, you saw Florida State running backs just running over dudes. You look in the stats and be like, well, Florida State top runner only had 50-something rushing yards. It's like, yeah, because they was using these dudes in the pass game. And that's where Michigan's trying to do now. So they using to me, these first two games, I never saw a running back in Michigan era get as many passes out the backfield as these last two games. So I say the overreaction for me is the backup quarterback position. The sophomore, I can't remember his name right now. I'm high as hell. I got a computer right here. I'm talking about I can't remember his name. What's his name? Jaden Dadio. I'm going to just call him Jaden. He threw a good ball. Pause. 1 for 1. 1 for 35. I think he's going. I don't know what's going on with Alex Orji right now, but that backup quarterback spot is going to be a major issue for Michigan going forward. Because I say we got JJ, and then if something happens to JJ, now we can rely on the run game. But we're going to have a backup quarterback. Tuttle's not it. The one guy, Davis Warren, he's not it. If Jaden's not it, I don't know what's going on with RG. Basically, it's JJ of nothing. So, but yeah, I think the running games overall be okay. I think the running games going to make it a lot easier for Blake and Donovan because, like, the fourth and fifth game last year, Blake was averaging about 25, 30 carries a game, and you can't do that right now. So I like, keeping around 10 to 15 carries, keep them fresh, open up the running, passing game, and let's see it. Roman Wilson, 167 yards, 2 games, 5 touchdowns. It's only been 2 games, but if you told me we have a receiver up there putting up numbers, and I think as long as he stay healthy, those numbers going to go up. Him and JJ, Coasting Love, and these dudes have some weapons on offense. So I think the running game is going to be okay. I still see Donovan and Blake getting somewhere between 900, 1,100 each. I don't see the, 1,400 rushing yards. No, I see some receivers. I can see 2 receivers probably having close to 1,000 yards receiving. I can see Coasting Loveland having somewhere between 500 to 600 yards. And this can be a year where a quarterback, some like Jaden Davis, can say, you know what, I can stay committed to Michigan because they can air the ball out. I like the Tyler Morris kid. I like the receivers, the freshman receivers, I believe, Moore. The other guy, let me just look right quick. I don't want to disrespect my dog. Samaj Morgan, number 82. He reminded me of Jeremy Gallen, man. He's a short, strong dude, man. Frederick Moore, so I can see this being a year where we're joining the elite as far as being not just a run team, but a passing team with quarterbacks won't mind coming. So with that being said, go Blue.